Jy is geskakel op die groot ontbyt. Hierdie Vrydag is 'n besige dag. Ons volgende onderhoud is supposed to be in English, but we decided to do it in Afrikaans.
She
Is
can
that
actually
alright with
speak
you?
very well Afrikaans.
Catherine. Constantinides.
That's impressive.
Ja. Huh?
Well
I'm
done.
impressed.
Ja.
Well
Sê dit
done.
bekend.
Constantinides.
There you go. There you
Ja,
go.
well
Okay.
done. A big welcome.
Thank you.
En net vir die inligting, uitvoerende direkteur van Miss Earth South Africa. So you're running the show now, but before you started running the show,
You were the show.
You were the second winner, 2003.
Yes.
Does it feel a long time ago?
Like a lifetime ago.
It feels a long time ago.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And then what happened to 2002? Because there was no one. It was 2001.
Yes.
No one.
So so everything was run by an international office.
Okay.
And so after I had my year of rain, it was definitely something I wanted to invest myself in, build, grow, and make sure that we had a program in South Africa that was much more than just sending someone to an international competition. So I spent the next few years building something based on the environment, greening, and issues that South Africans as a whole were not really familiar with.
Maybe just to give a quick background, what motivated you to become part of this project?
I think for me, I grew up in a home where we learned to respect the environment, we learned to respect the beauty of the earth around us from a very young age. I remember my fondest memories are with my sister and I in a garden with my dad and my mom over weekends. We had a very beautiful garden because my dad had the greenest fingers I've ever met anyone having, and whatever he touched really blossomed, and he taught us so much about the world around us, and he almost innately gave us this responsibility to make sure that we cared for not only the people around us but the environment around us as well.
But before we talk more about Miss Earth South Africa, and it's really a brand that exploded, even with my previous work. I mean, you know, the interviews we've done, the people, it's really a quality thing. But before that, you're talking about growing up. Where did you grow up?
Grew up in the south of Johannesburg, born and bred, went to school there, and have had the opportunity to, in the past 10, 15 years, to travel across South Africa on a weekly basis and also around the world. So home is Johannesburg still, even though sometimes I have to remind myself that I'm actually from Joburg because I spend so much time
on the
somewhere
road.
else.
But then you started a business age 16, I think. What was
Yes.
that? What did you start?
I started a business called SA Fusion, and I did that off the back of doing a lot of community work, and I needed to fund the community work. So basically what I did was I started doing events. The events started raising money for the work I was doing, and that sort of spiraled because people were starting to hire me to do their work and do events and branding and PR. They didn't realize I was at school, but I started doing this work and then realized I needed to formally structure everything. So I set up a company.
Do you think South Africans actually take on their part as, or their social responsibility? Do you actually think they embrace that enough?
Yes and no. I think that we do see unbelievable amounts of active citizenry happen, but there's so much potential for so much more. I speak to so many people who say to me, oh, they would love to do something, but they're not really sure what to do. So instead they do nothing. And I think that a lot of people don't realize that it's the small actions and small things that they do on a daily basis that could have a huge impact. So I think the potential for South Africans to be much more active is really there. And I think in the past few weeks have really shown how South Africans need to stand up. They need to become more vocal, and we need to stand to the moral beliefs we have as citizens. And we have to also understand that we've got to respect other views. And I think South Africans have to understand that we cannot no longer be complacent. We have to be part of building our country. We have an unbelievable country. We come from a very difficult past, but so much was given for us to have the freedom we have today. So there's no doubt that we have to play our small role every single day.
Wow.
I see you in Parliament.
Motivational speaker, I'm telling you.
No, that's Parliament.
Parliament.
That's
I'm telling
Parliament. That's the first woman president.
Honourable
Thank you.
speaker.
Honourable. Before we chat about all the stuff you're busy with, because you're really busy
Yeah.
and there's different projects, but with Miss Earth South Africa, you know, just how does it work? Your day-to-day working with that, the planning, where's it at for this year, next year, what's happening?
So basically, the Miss Earth South Africa is a leadership program. You can apply to be a part of the program. And this year, So in fact, tomorrow we'll be in Durban for our first round of workshops. If you apply, you will be invited to a workshop and an interview session around the country over the next month. So if you are listening or you're watching this morning and you want to still be a part of it, applications did close last week. But if you are not in Durban and you're in any other part of the country and you'd like to still participate and apply, you're welcome to do that. You can send an SMS with your details to 082 5050 664, or you can go online and you can drop us an email. You can fill out the application form and send that to us. But basically, it's a program that allows for young women who either have a passion for the environment, sustainability, and understand that space. If you have the next few months and you want to really get involved in community work through this program, you're welcome to enter. And then if you are a young woman who has no idea about this space and you want to learn, then this is absolutely for you, because this is an opportunity and a platform for you to be exposed to something that actually affects you every single day. And it's an opportunity for you to find ways to give back to your community just by being who you are.
Ek gaan sommer inskryf. Noem my Jorina.
Just wear a wig. Dis
nou
al okay
nie.
wees.
Ja, ek is
Jy
alright.
het sy hare te skeer nie. Dis klaar.
As jy net ingeskakel het, ons gesels verder met Catherine Constantinides. Sy is die uitvoerende directeur van Miss Earth South Africa. Ek is elke keer so
Elke keer
chuffed as
voel
ek
jy so
dit reg
trots,
kry.
like,
Ja, it's so difficult,
Constantinides.
but it's so, yeah, it's so beautiful. When was the first time you realized you're pretty?
I must be honest, I don't think I'm pretty.
We're honest, you are. I'm just joking. I want to
No.
make you blush.
So what are you
You're
now
about
joking?
to.
Or?
So you're so busy. We spoke about Miss Earth South Africa. You
Yes.
wanted to say something about the age, and they need
Yes.
to have matric.
Yes, so part of the requirements are you have to be a South African citizen, you have to have done your matric, and you have to be between the age of 18 and 28. And that's basically it. The rest is we are looking for a blank canvas, amazing young South African women who have the ability to grow, to learn, and to share that knowledge with their communities.
How do you guys identify projects?
It's twofold. A lot of people will come to us and say, we've got this problem, or we've got a community that really needs your assistance, and we will assist there where we can. And then we've got specific communities that we've always traditionally worked in, and we try to continually go back to improve those communities, build on the work that we've done there. So it's really twofold. Sometimes there'll be there'll be an informal settlement that comes up, and we try to find a way to impact those lives through food security, putting in food gardens, teaching communities how to grow their own food, looking at nutrition, looking at climate impacts and those kinds of things. So they're really different ways, but sometimes it is about people coming to us and saying, this is their challenge. Is there a way we can get involved?
Other projects like Lead SA and the Generation Earth. Are you still involved with Lead SA?
So I was involved, and Lead SA was a huge part of my world for 4.5 years. But about 18 months ago, I left, and I left only because I'd given it everything, and I needed to sort of move on. I started working on a TV program on SABC1 called One Day Leader, and it's a reality TV show on Monday nights at 4:30. And the idea is to develop young South African leaders from townships. How do we impact young people who have unbelievable potential but need a platform? So I've been working on. We're currently on our 5th season.
Okay.
And so that's been going really well.
Sure.
And to see how you can actually impact lives is unbelievable. I also started just over 2 years ago. I started working in a refugee camp in North Africa. And so that took me out of the country for quite some time. So I had to make the choice, which was a difficult one, but I decided to move on from Lead SA. So I had more capacity
Yes.
to be able to do more and to be able to own my time, to be able to decide, okay, well, I'll go and I'll stay in the refugee camps for a while, and I didn't have to, be answerable to having to fill out forms, etc. You have to move on at some point, and you have to leave a space for new blood to infiltrate.
It's also, it gave you the foundation, but it also gave you a name. I mean, the people you meet, en wat jy skouers mee skuur, ek kan dit nie in Engels sê nie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Desmond Tutu and Ahmed Katrara.
That's big
They just
names.
passed away, and I know you were quite emotional about that as well.
Yes.
It gave you a platform to work with legendary people. So what is your future plans? Where do you
So-
see yourself?
Definitely in Parliament.
Yes, I knew it.
Definitely looking at bigger ways that I can impact South African society, making sure that I can have an impact that sees people's lives being bettered, people's lives being uplifted. We see unprecedented levels of poverty in our country, 22, 23 years later. We need to make sure that sometimes there's only so much you can do on the outside working from an NGO activism space, but sometimes you need to be part of the system to impact that change. So definitely in the next 5 years, that's where I'm going to be moving towards, and that's where I hope to be able to drive my energy and passion for South Africa and for South Africans. We have such a beautiful country, but we need to be part of that change that we need to make happen to move our country forward.
So if you say Parliament, is it with the EFF, the DA? Because you need to
Ooh.
say it's with someone. I'm just curious.
You'll have to wait and see.
I thought we had a scoop here.
I must tell you, I think I look really good with a red beret. So
Yeah, yes,
you
you
never
can
know.
go, we never
You
know.
never know.
Now we're wondering.
We've got about 1 minute left.
Yes.
The marches today, but there's this whole thing. The moment we want to do something together, you always get white guys who says, no, I'm not going to do something with black guys, and you get black people who no, I'm not going to do something with white people. How are we going to approach that? You know, what makes you positive still?
I think for me, the thing that I'm positive about is that South Africans have to instill respect within each other and within the kinds of conversations we have. We each have the ability during a conversation we're having over dinner, when we're around a braai with friends, we decide the kind of words and language we use. We need to be in control of the language we use, and we need to educate our own circles of friends, our own circles of colleagues. It is up to us to start changing that mindset. We need to respect that we live in a multiracial, very diverse country. And it's up to us to see the hope. There is so much hope in our country. The pockets of hope are unbelievable. But it's for us to start changing that narrative. And it's our responsibility. It's not government's responsibility. It's not our leaders' responsibility. That responsibility starts in the home. And as people who are guardians or parents of children, you decide.
Especially.
Absolutely. Yeah. It is up to you to instill values that are on the foundation of respect of one another. We live in a beautiful country that belongs to all South Africans, and that respect must start at home.
Wow.
You seen Joe Black say, be that guy. I'm telling you now, be this woman. Thank you so much for the
Thank you
visit
very
and
much.
all of the best with everything.
Thank you.
Good night.